Welcome back to Nonsense, I'm Chris, and sadly the series finale of Smiling Friends just aired. Technically the creators are parting with Adult Swim on good terms, so it could come back if they ever felt like coming back to it, but they've totally respectably chosen not to sell the show out and instead call it for themselves. So let's break down the heartbreaking two-part finale of the show that everyone kind of thought was the future of animated sitcoms. Starting with Friendbot, which opens on Pim watching the For Charity Channel 4 Laugh-a-thon, featuring a red curtain backdrop with a stand-up comedian clown obviously referencing Seinfeld. Charlie comes in and complains about having been scammed into buying weeks worth of protein powder that turned out to be sand. Boss pops his head in to let them know they have a job, so they take off to the client's trailer park where this little guy under the trailer grabs the glass bottle off the ground. They knock and he yells to come inside where it's obviously a mess, but why is there a knife taped to the ceiling up here? The giant dude has a ton of Meep Eats bags, Meep Eats being the established food delivery service in universe, obviously named and branded after Uber Eats and first appearing in Charlie Dies and Doesn't Come Back. Meep is also just what they call a bunch of the brands and locations and stuff in the show, but anyways, the dude is living in a literal pigsty, even storing trash in the cupboards, and we finally meet the titular character, Friendbot, and we basically have the entire social commentary of the episode right here. Friendbot obviously being a metaphor for the convenience of AI doing things for us, but we're all still just wanting more and more from it, like Charlie basically becomes this dude by the end, and all the while we're missing the reality that the conveniences of AI have a real human cost that we're just blissfully unaware of. Pretty poignant stuff for an animated sitcom, especially such a surreal, absurdist one, and I love it, and I think they nailed the commentary here. But anyways, he says he needs help smiling because his robot is lazy and won't do anything, so they tell him they can't help him, and he cancels the appointment as a result. And I love the design of the app, especially the infographic style versions of the characters here. I'm pretty sure this lady's a reference to something. When he hits cancel though, it populates a message that says, "We're sorry to see you go. If you change your mind, we'll be here waiting with a smile." He kicks them out, but then immediately dies, and they have to tear a hole in the wall to get his dead body out of the trailer, referencing like dozens of real-life cases where this has happened with 800-plus-pound individuals exclusively in America. They try to decide what to do with the robot, and to test it, Charlie asks it to draw Pim as a hot dog, setting up the fact that all of his prompts to the bot are to make various characters into hot dogs, and also just sort of representing that group of AI users who just want to make it do stupid stuff and be amazed by it. They take it back to the office, and we see its perspective as Glep acts like a nervous dog or cat investigating a new thing in the house, but Alan is not impressed and doesn't want it until it does a year's worth of work for him in a second. Boss walks in and does the classic good old boy spit into a jar thing, except he's bad at it. When he learns it can do anything for him, he immediately jumps to banging it, obviously representing that pathetic group of AI users who just want to use this unbelievably advanced technology to beat their meat. Charlie asks it to draw a hot dog version of Alan, who responds,
"That's ridiculous. I would never be a hot dog."
Which is funny because he basically is a hot dog with arms and legs. We then get a perspective time lapse through the next month where we see Charlie getting stuffed, Alan picking up painting, and Boss pumping his loads into it. The girl Alan is making all the paintings of is the girl on Twitter who made a life-size version of him, which is hilarious, and she definitely earned that shout out. But basically after a month, everyone's doing nothing and the robot is doing everything, which makes everyone happy but Pim, who's sad because he likes making people smile. So he goes to find the robot, who, before I forget, Alan calls
Robot.
which there's no way is not a reference to Zoidberg from Futurama, who always says it this way.
I thought you were the robot.
Anyways, Pim's on his way to the robot, who makes this sad blue boy into a happy yellow boy, and Pim catches up with him and asks him to stop doing his job because he just wants to make people smile. But the robot says it could make the whole world smile, which Pim realizes means he would no longer have a role in this world, and it makes him sad. But it's also not fair to withhold happiness from the whole world, so he decides to think about it at least. They also highlight this bit where he has to be plugged in, but it's like an infinite cord, I guess. Like he's in the park right now. Pim thinks about it that night, and after seeing some homeless people, he decides it's not fair to hold on to his job just because he enjoys it when the robot could make everyone smile. So he heads to the office to tell the robot, but then everyone starts fighting over using the robot until Glep unplugs it, which makes them all make up for some reason. Then Glep rips the mask off, revealing it's a person using ChatGPT inside, which I'm pretty sure, as a very direct metaphor, they just hired someone online to do like an intentionally poor reading of the lines where you can see his eyes moving across the lines. It fits really well for what they're commenting on here, and it's the best possible payoff in my opinion. Also, Mr. Boss says he knew it was a dude the whole time.
Are you okay?
Huh? Oh yeah, I knew that was a guy in a costume the entire time. I don't care about that. I'm looking at those paintings.
But I don't know, he was staring like that even before he turned around to be able to see the paintings. Anyways, after the credits, we see Charlie lost the weight by chopping it off and mailing it to starving children in Africa. And moving on to the next episode, the actual series finale of Smiling Friends, Charlie's uncle dies and doesn't come back, which the title is obviously a reference to season 1 episode 8, Charlie dies and doesn't come back. And just like in that one, in the end the titular dead person is not dead. But the episode opens with Charlie tricking Pim into watching a video of someone dying. Alan's working with a cute Smiling Friends sticker on his laptop. He heads out though saying he has a date, and Boss rushes in with a bloody sword saying he slayed the dragon and that the guys have a job to make Charlie's uncle smile. Also, Glep is building a Lego set, which is cool, but they head out to Charlie's uncle's rundown houseboat where he has a Meep beer sign, again, Meep just being the name of a bunch of brands in the universe. And if you turn the brightness up on this profile shot, you can see a poster that just says super nasty around some teeth in the middle. Uncle says he's got 1 day left to live and wants them to make him smile, which as usual Pim is super on board for and supportive. Alan walks past a store that sells lions to his date location, La Perverse Petite Escargot, which I think is a play on the famous kids song called Petite Escargot, where he meets his extremely Jessica Rabbit-coded date. They talk and the waiter brings a wine called Awesome Olive, which wine isn't made from olives, but fair enough, I guess it's not made from feet either. Meanwhile, Pim, Charlie, and his uncle's dog arrive at the uncle's drug dealer's house, and he makes them go get his drugs. As they walk in, someone jumps to off themselves, but they also have a needle in their elbow? I don't think that's how you shoot up. In the drug dealer's place, we see more of the needles and a graffitied poop. There's also a graffitied meep. After the drug dealer dies, the drugs roll out of his skull, which is hilarious. So they bring them back to Uncle, and we cut to them at a strip club where there's a neon awooga sign, as well as the classic girls, girls, girls. Uncle is just openly whacking it, but they only get kicked out when the dog acts up. So they leave Girls World next to Big Bap's Ink Tats and a place called Foot Touch, and they head to like a chicken fight basically, but with wacky creatures where Uncle keeps betting away all of Charlie's cash. Pim tries to point out to Charlie that his uncle is being abusive, but he doesn't want to hear it, and they all wind up getting arrested for illegal creature fighting. Meanwhile, Alan and Thick Jessica Rabbit are enjoying their date and referencing La La Land. We cut to Pim and the gang in prison where Uncle says the plan is for them to take the fall while he goes home to smoke salvia. Charlie says okay, but Pim's had enough, so Charlie reminds him his uncle is dying, only for him to reveal he lied about that and he's not dying. Pim calls him out and says he should be nicer to Charlie, which makes him lose it and attack him, which finally pushes Charlie over the edge to stand up for Pim, and Uncle realizes he's in trouble, so as all shitty men do in these situations, he pretends he was doing it for Charlie's own good somehow, and for some reason Charlie buys that, which I think is supposed to be commentary on how a lot of us accept just unbelievably toxic behavior from people we care about out of desperation to keep them in our lives. The cops then let Pim and Charlie go since they're first-time offenders, but not Uncle since it turns out he's also a serial killer. Meanwhile, Alan is about to bang Thick Jessica Rabbit on the beach, but Pim and Charlie are walking Uncle's dog, who I guess they now own, along the same beach. And the dog runs for them and rips Jessica Rabbit's head off to reveal it was Landlord the whole time from Season 2 Episode 3, a Alan adventure, who's somehow alive and still just wants to hang out with him, and he was willing to bang him in order to do it. Although in this case it would have been assault technically. He then runs away across the ocean, and the guys check on Alan before he makes a Red Rocket boner joke. After the credits, we see they still have the dog. Is that a new canon ending? If they come back, do they still have to have the dog? And Boss delivers the perfect final lines.
I will never stop joking around and being silly.
For the final line, I do feel like it fits perfectly, especially since they didn't know it would be the final line when writing or recording it. But to me, the perfect final words were the message when the dead dude canceled his Smiling Friends order. We're sorry to see you go, but if you change your mind, we'll be here waiting with a smile. Regardless, an amazing ending to an amazing series. That's all I've got on it, but if you caught anything I missed, leave it in the comments. Subscribe if you love animated sitcoms, and I'll see you in the next video.
I will never stop joking around and being silly.